team was, even after all that, you had a chance to win the game. But I'm really disappointed in being undisciplined with all the personal fouls, the face mask, chop block, late hit. Those are things that shouldn't happen. So, you know, it's interesting. We talk about it being disciplined, and we were undisciplined today, playing smart football, and we didn't play smart football. So we have to do a better job of coaching it. You know, the general rule is the players will show you how well you're coaching them and what you're working on Saturdays. So that's what I take out of this. Can't give up a block punt for a touchdown and then have 125 or however many yards. And then we weren't good on the rush. I think we gave up maybe 5-6 yards of rush. I know one of them was a long one, but it still counts. So we've got to do a better job on the run. Got to do a better job minimizing penalties and give us a chance to have success. We're just not the team that can overcome that many plays, bad plays, I should say, or undisciplined plays. So that'll be the thing that I'll first or start to work on tomorrow when we get them back for practice.
Mike, can you take us through the decision to go for it on 4th down and then the play that was called and how that
Well, you're
developed?
on the, 34, something like that. So you're in 4th and 3. You get a chance to get a first down, the game's over. If you punt it, you know they're going to get it on the 20. Obviously, it didn't. Those 14 yards at that time didn't make a difference, but I would have liked for Taylor to have thrown the ball away. Is what I would have liked for it to happen on that particular play.
Did he have the option to run or pass? Or
Was that something that you and Yurcich discussed during the timeout? Is that what you two settled on, or was that?
Well, there's a million suggestions going on in timeouts. You know, like every time during the game, and it was no different than any other timeout.
A week after you guys put the ball in Taylor's hands in some pretty significant moments, did you feel even more empowered to sort of let him make that call in that moment on that 4th down play?
Well, I mean, that's just a base play for us. I mean, we've run that play for years, so it's not really anything different than any other play.
What changed for the defense down the stretch?
What's that?
What changed for your defense down the stretch that had been working earlier that suddenly wasn't?
I think it's penalties. I think we prolonged drives, and I mean, again, it's hard for me to recollect every drive, but we're extending drives and giving them free 15-yard penalties, and that's a huge factor. It's difficult to get stops, and then certainly when you're giving them 15, 20 yards a drive on penalties, that's where it would start for me, just too many undisciplined penalties.
Got a great out of justice today. It seemed like, especially in the second half of the run game, started to find some lanes and some holes. Was that design stuff? You guys switched at halftime, or did what you did in the first half start to open some things up there?
I mean, we made a couple adjustments at half, but most of it was just game plan, things that we hadn't got to. But I thought our play calling and keeping them off balance and run pass mix, I don't know what it is, 212 and 311 was pretty good, and we didn't turn the ball over. So you know, really it comes down to what I said. We were able to balance the offense, but there's too many crucial mistakes at the wrong time.
Penalties have been kind of a common occurrence in most, if not all, of your losses this season. Does it kind of confound you that it continues happening, or?
Well, it's a big factor in our losses. And what worries me, or not worries me, what disappoints me is we talk about it every single day, every practice, every meeting. And I talk about it twice before we go on the field, once at the hotel and once in the locker room. But that's not getting it done for some reason. So we're going to have to come up with some plan to where we can get our guys to be a little more disciplined on some of those penalties, because that's a huge factor in these close losses.
How much talk is there during the game of how tight or loose the game is being officiated and how players kind of respond to that?
Not really any. That's not something we know because we can't see a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any problem with officiating. I thought it was fine. But we just didn't play very disciplined football.
Mike, on the punt, what did it look like to you? Was it just take a little too long back there, or not?
It's a tactical error. It's got nothing to do with the deal. We didn't execute and we were lined up wrong.
There were some screwy things that happened on special teams really all day for both teams. Did that factor into the decision? Instead of have Zach just drop back and pooch it down inside the 20 instead of going for it? Was that part of it at all, or was that a factor?
Well, one issue is that wind is a difficult thing to deal with, and I thought that we could that it wouldn't be as big a deal on field goals because of the scoreboard. I thought it would help, and then when I saw how big of an issue it was on that, then the ability for a guy to gauge where he's punting the ball into wind like that is extremely difficult. So, we just felt like, hey, we get 3 yards. Worst case scenario, we give him the ball in the 30 or 31. So if we were to gauge it wrong on a punt, they're going to get on the 20. So basically it should have been like a 10 or a 12-yard risk versus trying to finish the game.
Mike, how did you evaluate Taylor's passing today? His throwing the ball.
I thought he threw pretty good. It was not an easy day to throw out there. Going or this way or that way, it's difficult. We had some guys open down the field that I wish we would have hit, but they had the same thing. If you watch them, they had guys a couple times open and the ball was going over their head. Or it was not an easy day to throw the football or kick or punt it.
Many of the carries on that last offensive drive went to JD. Was that, I know Justice limped off at one time. Was he just not 100%, or was he tired at that point in the game? You guys had JD in there near the end.
I would have to ask Waz. He might have been, got a little tired there, and JD in, and which was fine. We were still getting some whacks at it. So I don't think any of that was a factor.
Mike Taylor was pitching it out to Tyron and Tylen regularly throughout the day, just real short stuff. They were laying off, I think, Tylen especially. Thought that maybe just go back to that on the 4th down call as opposed to rolling Taylor out.
Well, they pressed it.
Okay.
So it's a little different, right? So now you're going to be throwing a 25-yard ball down the field. The 4th down call is one call. We lost the game because we had 130 yards of penalties and got a block punt for a touchdown.
How did you feel about your offensive line? Obviously a different look out there
In
today.
the first quarter, I didn't think we were very good. And then from that point on, I thought they played pretty good. 76 looked like he held up okay. I mean, without watching the tape, it'd be hard for me to say. There's some times that he got beat, but overall, he seemed like he played okay.
AJ Green was a guy who got penalized a lot today. Then he got beat on that last touchdown play. How's he doing right now? From what you've seen, he obviously didn't look great walking off the field.
Oh, I mean, I haven't seen him. I'm sure he probably doesn't feel good about, again, it was a 5-yard fade. That happened to be the last play. That wasn't the issue. I keep going back to, we're not far enough along as a team to overcome 125 yards of penalties and block punt for touchdowns. And that's really the biggest part, the extension of the drives, shortening the field for them like that. So that'll be the first thing that we need to correct. Come up with a way to be a smarter, more disciplined team.
Mike, because you guys have continually had problems with penalties, and I think last week we learned a few times that you haven't obviously got a good result because that just is a reoccurring thing. Is that an issue of youth? Is that an issue of something in not making connection in the brain? I don't know. Like at this point, it sort of has become a trend for you guys.
Yeah, the face mask and late hits were all on their sidelines, so I couldn't see it. So it's hard for me to comment. Sometimes when you're going to tackle a guy, if he moves down and but you got to open your hand and let it brush off. The chop blocks on offense, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, we shouldn't even be chop blocking, and that's a critical error And that has to start with our staff and our approach to it. And then if that's not something we can fix, then we need to put cut blocking. Because we've had a chop like the last 3 or 4 weeks in a row, 15 yards. Now, we overcame it. I mean, I think we hit a guy down the middle and actually scored a touchdown on that drive. But we can't win games with those many crucial errors. And so we'll have to try to work hard to come up with a plan to minimize it.
Anything else for Coach?
41 throws, Mike, for Taylor. I'm just not seeing his total. Is that, you said you liked how he was throwing it. Is that an awfully high number given the elements today with the wind the way it was? Or?
90 plays.
Yeah. Okay.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, an additional 18 plays from what we've been this year.
Okay.
Let's just say it's, 7 extra, you're 30s, 32 or 3, whatever, so that's about right. Pretty balanced, you had 40 passes and 47 rushes. Pretty common for us.
You mentioned telling your team they still had a chance to win this game. Did you bring up at all the future, what's to come, the next game, the next 3 games? When you were talking to them in the locker room after the game?
No. I mean, we'll talk about all that tomorrow, the next game. I mean, when you lose a game, you try to talk to them about things that we could have done better, and then it's important to shower up and get on the plane, get home, get some rest, come back to work, and go be ready to go to work tomorrow. Not necessarily look ahead in a post-game locker room.
It seemed like 31 and 20 at safety. Some of your young safeties had some of their better games. Did you notice them more out there today?
It's really hard for me on defense to watch because they're generally not in location of the ball, and I'm watching the ball, and so I don't see a lot of what they do. So without watching tape and hearing that side of it, it'd be difficult for me to really comment on any of that.
Did you guys prepare for both quarterbacks coming into this game, or are you just focused on one or the other?
We didn't know enough about the other guy to not prepare for what they had done. So, I mean, it was basically the schemes that we got ready on is what they had done this year.
So then it doesn't catch you off guard then when Berg comes into the game, he's the guy you had been preparing for?
Yeah, I can't. I haven't asked him about that, but I can't imagine that it would be anything that would caught us off guard because most of all their tape was him playing in the game.
On the block punt, you guys kind of started out and shifted into your punting formation. Do you think that had anything to do with backing things up?
No, we didn't have a guy over there. That doesn't have anything to do with the players. That was coaching.
Any else, Coach?
Thanks. We'll bring everybody else in here.